Folks, BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. And please, just no more Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fights. That's all we ask for. Just never again. Head to BetOnline today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here. Enjoy the show. And this is where a professional podcast host would have had his intro song queued the heck up. But this professional podcast host did not. So I'm going to tap dance for a minute while I find that. And I've completely forgotten how the controls work in this crazy app that I'm using. This is wild. Banners, brand. It's under brand. Oh, wow. How about that?
We're blazing our own path.
This friggin' rules. This is the greatest intro of all time. Let's start the music. And just like that, just like thunder crashing at the end of a podcast you're recording, we start with that intro there. And guys, my apologies on that, but also in the words of the scholar Cole Beasley, sorry, not sorry, because this is free content. This is all the comedy and entertainment you could ever want right here on Flyperbole. But so Quigs, as many of us know, I was on PHLY post game last night. Always a pleasure to join. Join our friend Bill Matz. And at the end of the podcast, while doing an ad read, all of a sudden, that's when that crazy thunderstorm hit the Delaware Valley.
Totally random. Reminder, it's basically Thanksgiving.
It's basically
thunderstorms. It's Thanksgiving.
I wore shorts last week. Like there's thunderstorms. It's all natural.
It's absurd, dude. We're so gonna die. Are we gonna die of natural causes? When I say natural cause, like I'm talking, the good shit, cancer, stroke.
The good.
Are we gonna die of those things?
No. I'm thinking a 2012 situation, like that terrible Roland Emmerich movie. It's like collapsing. He did two really bad ones because there was 2012, which is about the Mayan calendar bullshit.
Yeah, and
he did The Day After Tomorrow, which is one of the most hilariously bad theater experiences I've ever had.
So what was the whole situation with The Day After Tomorrow? Because I remember
it was environmental collapse.
Storm. Yeah. So what caused it? What was
mankind?
Yeah. But was there a certain how did that?
I think it just happened.
Level of extreme. So it just happened.
It just happened, and they had a clear Dick Cheney analog in that movie and everything. It was really ridiculous. Wow. Yeah. And I just remember there was a scene where a Russian freighter gets trapped in the middle of New York because there's a flash freeze or something. Mm-hmm. And I just remember a bunch of people were trapped in a famous library in New York, and they had to go in to the freighter to find medicine, and then wolves attack them. It's a weird movie. I would love a summer podcast.
The people were being frozen alive outside. That I remember.
Correct. Yes.
The wolves are not being frozen outside.
No, because wolves are great in cold weather. They're wearing fur coats, baby.
That's right. How could I forget?
I would love to do a rewatch of this for a summer podcast. This might be
this would be a good one.
Yeah. Live stream from my living room with my big ass TV. I think just a bunch of beers. I think that sounds great.
Burr! As Gucci Mane would say.
Gucci Mane. Yes, of course.
As you know.
Did you say Gucci Mane or did you say Gucci Mane?
Gucci Mane.
Gucci Mane. Yeah, I don't know.
The inspiration behind Bucci Mane.
Okay.
Gucci Mane.
Yeah, the only Uchi I know is Bucci Gross, and that's his chicken parm struggle chase.
Dude, I gotta say, I am very since I've moved up to Philadelphia, I'm very much a chicken parm connoisseur now. I'm kind of obsessed with chicken parm because down in Virginia, there's no good Italian food at all. There's literally two respectable Italian places in the city of Richmond that I know of. One of them is just not my thing. It's like a lot of seafood, and I'm not a seafood guy. For some reason, I've just like never really been into seafood. But the other one is like a, you know, stereotypical red sauce Italian place with, you know, like they got the bolognese, they got the chicken parm. Chicken parm there was great. Dude, it is like nothing is touching the chicken parm in Philly, from Richmond. And I just love, like, ever since I moved up here, there's so much good chicken parm.
Dude, there's my life. So much good chicken parm. Like, you spit and like, I didn't really mean to say spit, although that's an issue for Italian Joe today. But you basically like look anywhere, you walk 10 feet and you'll get like a great piece of chicken parm in the city.
Dude, I swear to God. Yeah. Like, dude,
what's your favorite one so far? What's the best one so far?
I've mentioned this place already on this podcast. I'm going to mention it again. Dante and Luigi's is so fucking good. It's in South Philly. It's not that far from Angelo's. It is. Oh,
I walk by there like every day.
Oh my God. It is so just outstandingly good. You know, the chicken parm is exquisite. They have like fried calamari that just rocks my ass. It's so good.
Love fried calamari.
Rocks my ass. And then they have really, really good just pasta too. So like the pasta's great. It's more of like a red sauce, classical Italian place, but like it's so good. Every time I go there, the service is great. Surprisingly not that expensive for like what one could consider a fancy like dinner. It's pretty manageable. So if you're like thinking of, you know, you want to have a nice day, it's anniversary, you want to go on a nice date night or something like that. Go to Dante and Luigi's. It's awesome.
You want a nice night on the town. Dante and Luigi's right there.
Yeah. And apparently a couple mobsters were like whacked there.
Oh, yeah, because they had that whole like sign outside, right?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. I haven't tried them yet, so I'm putting them on the list right now. My favorite is probably, which is just right there as well, Ralph's, which is a Philadelphia classic. Ralph's is like old school Italian right there, and I friggin' love Ralph's.
So is it an Italian restaurant?
Yeah.
Okay. Because like Ralph's, I don't think of that as like an Italian restaurant name. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But Ralph's is an Italian restaurant. It's a very old Italian restaurant in the city too. It's been around forever. It's awesome. Ralph's is... Okay. I highly recommend Ralph's. It's got the chicken parm's awesome. We'll usually get an order. We'll get this delivered every now and then, and we'll get the chicken parm and we'll get fettuccine Alfredo. And they make. I will tell you, if you like fettuccine Alfredo, this is the best fettuccine Alfredo I've ever had. It's unbelievable.
Ralph's, okay, all right.
Ralph's, dude. Ralph's rocks it. I love Ralph's. It's so good.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
It's nice just being able like to get great Italian food everywhere,
anywhere you want. Yeah.
It's a cool feeling. It's one of the things that makes the city special. Like, I know there's a ton of problems, but man, the food is not a problem.
No, not at all. Last night I went to a tiny little Italian market in Fishtown called Castellino's. Really fucking good. Like, teeny tiny little place, but they have like a really, really good assortment of like, you know, they got bread, they got little snacks, they got a bunch of stuff. They had Mexican Cokes. Like,
oh, I love a Mexican Coke.
Love a Mexican
real sugar,
Coke, dude. Yeah. So good. It hits totally
very
different.
good. Oh, it hits so different. Good. In that glass bottle. Oh, it's so good.
So I've been thinking about this. Why? So I looked up on the internet, which it's got to be true, Steve. Apparently, glass bottles are more harmful to the environment than plastic bottles, which I wouldn't have known.
I wouldn't have known that either. Wow.
Apparently the reason why is because the process of making the glass bottles requires lots of melting and like heat and shit. So I guess that...
So like the carbon emission offset, essentially?
Maybe. Yeah.
Lack of offset?
I guess. So I don't know.
How about that? Well, I'll tell you what. As a treat, every now and then, I friggin' love a Mexican Coke in a glass bottle. Like, it's not something I have all the time because it's also a little expensive, but like, it's so good. It hits so damn good.
I get it like once a year or something. Like, rarely do I get it, but when I do,
I get it. Yeah,
I question why I don't get it more.
A couple times a year because it's just a great little treat right there. Mm-hmm. So Italian restaurants. I know I've told this story at some point on this podcast. You know, it's been a while that I've been doing this. And by the way, there was one moment last night where I really wanted to do the Stained It's Been a While on the PHLY cast, and I restrained. But listeners of the show will know that moment. They know that I was restraining myself. They know that I wanted to. The look is on my face. But so a long time.
Were you like about to do it, and then you were just like,
No. I had it in my head, and I was like, I made a face, basically signaling to people, like, I want to do this, but I'm not going to. It's like the tongue is firmly in cheek there. But so longtime listeners will know this story. I think I'm pretty sure I've told it before, but I don't know if I've told you this story. So one of my most shameful drunken night out on the town moments with my friends happened at an Italian restaurant. There's a place called Giorgio's on Pine, which is on Pine Street. And it's a great little place. It is like it's a pretty tiny place overall. Decent size actually, but like, I don't know. It's just one of those places where like everything's really friggin' loud because of the acoustics in there and everything. It's a loud ass Italian restaurant. And Italian restaurants are inherently loud usually. Yeah. So, it's a place, and it's BYOB and stuff. And I had a few beers. We were celebrating my friend's birthday. And I had some brewskis, as that happens.
As one does.
And at one point in the evening, we started talking about Peaky Blinders. Okay. And if you're familiar with Peaky Blinders, it's big time, that Cockney accent where it's like, oh, we're going to talk about the Peaky Blinders. And when you do that accent, specifically when you're trying to do an impression of the Peaky Blinders, you pretty much can only yell it. So between the fact that the restaurant was loud and you basically had to yell to talk to anybody, I was at like a 6-person table, so there's a lot of yelling, and I was talking about the Peaky Blinders and go, oh, you gotta mess with the Peaky Blinders, you gotta get a razor blade. So I got shushed. Really good. I got shushed at the loud Italian restaurant. The waiter came up to me and he's like, sir, could you just a little shh. Just a little shh. And then like
he said, just a little shh.
Just a little shh. Yeah. And I think it was the lady right behind me who complained about me. But man, I was a little toasty and I got my feels real bad about this. And I started to mope. And like at the end of the night, the owner actually comes over to the table because it's like that kind of establishment. Giorgio himself. And he comes over and he's like, how's everybody's meal? How'd everything go? And I was like, it was good, but he's like, what but? What's wrong? And I was like, I got shushed. He said, you got shushed? He couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe I got shushed his establishment. I'm going to make this right. And he didn't have to do this. So I always give this place a ton of praise because he did this. He comped my meal, which he didn't have to do. We tipped him well for that. Oh my
God.
And then he gave us desserts on the house.
Holy shit.
Like a full round of desserts. It was so good.
Oh, that's amazing.
It was delicious. It called? Giorgio on Pine.
Giorgio on Pine?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I got to go there now.
Giorgio gets so many props from me for making that into a memorable story. That's amazing. I was moping. I shouldn't have moped like that. I'm a grown-ass man. I should just take my lumps and move on. But nobody likes being shushed.
You know what? That's an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm that never happened. Like, being out, it's loud. You're with your friends, family. You're just having a good time.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, literally, that's how it would go in the show. Just a little shh. Just a little shush.
Bum, 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 bum.
That's how it would go. And then I can like literally see the camera slowly panning on Larry as he's just like who's telling me to shush? You don't tell me to shush.
Don't tell me to shush. Larry to shush. And that's where Larry and I are different. Where I moped, Larry would have tracked down the person that did it. He would have started going to every table and go, did you shush me? Did you tell them to shush me?
He would make awkward eye contact with the lady behind him, and he'd be like,
he'd give him that look. The look.
It was her. Yeah. He would tell Leon. He'd be like, it was her, and then they would do some shit to like fuck with them. So.
Yeah. So my life is very often Curb Your Enthusiasm, and that was a very Curb Your Enthusiasm moment that happened to me. Just a little shoot. Just a little. That's amazing. Yeah, and like. That also goes to show you how loud I can be sometimes. I got shushed in one of the loudest restaurants I've ever been in.
I can be stunningly loud.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
I'm from a loud family, so like too. I'm used to. I mean, I'm from a South Philly Irish family. Like we have to be loud, right?
Yeah.
So to get our points across, we're basically just screaming at each other sometimes.
Yeah.
So like, that's the only way I know, bud. So just given all those circumstances and given the Peaky Blinders, that's
I remember
just how it happened.
I remember I had an ex-girlfriend who came over to my house, my parents' house, and like met my parents for the first time. And she after she came over, I was like, so what do you think? And she was like, I couldn't get a word in. And I was like, well, I should have done a better job of like giving you some giving you some time on the floor, but also
gotta do a better job.
This is just how the family is. We're just yelling at each other. And if you don't butt in, you're fucked. So you're not going to say
if you don't butt in, you just got to back off. Like you just got to observe at that point.
Yeah. And that was her thing. She wasn't like aggressive enough when she like came in. And then the next time she was much more. And I was like, there you go. Just talk over each other. That's how it is.
Talk over each other, insult people, do what you got to do ultimately.
Yeah.
Okay. Like one of the things Emily's had to get used to with my family is what we call a good old Jaco family pile on, where somebody will screw something up and then the rest of the family will start just dunking on that person.
No.
Like, which as a child would usually happen to me. I actually had a breakthrough moment we had my sister's birthday dinner recently over at another local restaurant, shout out Middle Child Clubhouse, which is a great spot.
Still have not been there. Right by it.
I will go and get a burger with you anytime because the burger's awesome.
It's on Front Street, isn't it?
It's like right. It's under the L. You've been to 1900 Ice Cream,
on
right?
Front Street.
It's right next to 1900 Ice Cream.
Yeah, it's on Front. Okay,
it's awesome. So we went there for my sister's birthday, and when we were walking out, I was like, I had a breakthrough moment where I'm like, oh, one of my great fears in life is embarrassment because I was often embarrassed growing up in that household.
Yeah, that's one of my fears.
Yeah, I hate being like, that's one of my like worst feelings. That's like one of my main causes of social anxiety is embarrassment. And this might sound hilarious to people because I say weird shit on here all the time. Right, I say embarrassing shit, but I don't know. There's just something about when I get behind the microphone that's different.
It's that's kind of why I love karaoke so much, because like that's my time to like get up there and just be a shithead and just like be embarrassing. It's fun. That's the point.
That's the point of karaoke.
Get you out of your shell. Yeah.
I love karaoke too. Maybe there's something to this. Let's write a book.
Yeah. A study. This is not a book. This is a study. This is research.
Study. Well, I think we could write a book about the art of karaoke and anxiety or something.
And you know what else we could write a book about, Steve? The Flyers.
We can.
Because
there's a book about
legitimately so much bullshit about this team.
That was one transition to get into them. Mine was going to be something about transition? No, you didn't destroy my transition. Oh, okay, I think it's good for an exploration of transitions right here. But essentially, my transition was going to be something along the lines of, now I'm losing it. But it was basically like,
oops.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I destroyed it.
Well, no, you didn't destroy it. It's fine. It was more something along the lines of just going into like, I don't know, who's embarrassed, who needs. Okay, so I was shushed. Shushed in that occasion. But who's currently being shushed is Morgan Frost. Something.
There we go. That's a good
John
one.
Tortorella is just silencing Morgan Frost. He's just keeping him in prison right now, and he needs to free Morgan Frost or let him go because. I don't like this limbo. Okay, we're all tired of talking about Morgan Frost.
This has been going on for 3 years.
Bill and I talked about this last night. You and I have talked about this before. We talk entirely too much as a podcast and blogging community about Morgan friggin' Frost.
About a very average player at best.
This is not a top 100 flyer at the end of the day.
When Morgan Frost is at his best, he is an average player. He really is. Like we've seen him have some good games here and there, but let's be real. When he's just on a from a trajectory standpoint, he's just an average ass player. I'm sorry, that's what he is, and he's not going to be anything more than that. Well, at least in Philadelphia, he's not going to be anything
as
more than
a center in Philadelphia. He won't be.
No.
But if you put him in the right situation with the right team, he could succeed. Do I think it's going to burn us on the ass?
Yeah,
like some of the other guy. Well,
I'm prepared.
I'm prepared for it to burn us on the ass real bad, but do I think it's going to burn us on the ass like some of the most historic Flyers ass burning in history.
No,
Patrick Sharp.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't think he's going to be a Patrick Sharp, but like I do think he's going to go to another team and become like, you know, an annual like 55, 60 point guy.
Yeah, I think he'll click somewhere else
that.
because I think they're going to use him better than the Flyers have used him. And also the thing is, like, certain guys are going to perform better with higher end talent around them. It's just a fact. And that's one of our big concerns for Matvei Mishkov in the long run, because as we've said many times, we are only focused on Matvei Mishkov at this point.
Right.
That's all we care about is Mishkov and his future. So we're already thinking, like, who are your best line mates for him moving forward? Who are your best teammates? And this has been already an interesting season as far as seeing sink or swim guys like that. And Morgan Frost is sinking. He is at the bottom of the ocean right now. He couldn't be more sunk. The toilet seat is not only down,
way down.
It's broken off.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Torts is done with him. He's had some very exasperated quotes about him. And we saw, so the latest on the Morgan Frost front was Elliot Friedman wrote in his famous 32 Thoughts column right here that player team that seem a match, Morgan Frost and Chicago. Frost didn't play Wednesday against Carolina, the fourth game of the last 5 he's watched from the press box. He's not a complainer, prefers to keep any displeasure behind closed doors, but players want to play. Obviously, any dance needs partners who deal, but the Blackhawks in dire need of centers, and that's spelled the Canadian way. Come on, Elliot. Centre are one team that makes sense for him. So yeah, I mean, we're starting to see some rumors about it. I can't imagine, given the performance for the Flyers, that especially his troubles early season this year, they'd get a ton back for him, which would be a bummer, but it is what it is. He needs to change the scenery. The Flyers, frankly, just need an asset for him because I just can't see it working here at this point. I absolutely cannot.
I don't see how it happens. You know, like I think he's gotten so many chances, Steve. And he just hasn't strung it together long enough to make it worth it, you know. It just feels like, you know, right now he's a healthy scratch. Could he come back? We've seen this happen before. He's a healthy scratch, he comes back, he starts playing great. Could that happen again? Yeah. Is that sustainable over an entire career on the Flyers? No, it's not.
I know Tortorella's not going to be here forever. Right. I know Tortorella's not going to be here forever, right? But Tortorella is going to be here long enough that it's going to go through some of Morgan Frost's vital years. And here's the thing. Morgan Frost is not the youngest guy, but he needs to play. He needs to figure out his game. He needs to be in a lineup somewhere. And him sitting on the bench is not productive. It's not good for anybody. So yeah, he needs to change scenery. Chicago is a fascinating one because they are in town this weekend. So if there's time for Danny Briere to work out a deal, that would be it. And, you know, hey, look, it's convenient too. It's cost effective. Like, all right, you see those guys right there? Just get on their plane. There you go. Yeah. I think, dude, honestly, like, that's where the GMs, like, I'm curious. I'm sure, you know, there will be discussions. I think there has to be. I feel like the GMs talk every single time there's a game. Like, you know, they have to.
Yeah. So at that point, you got to have some sort of conversation. I'm sure the Blackhawks would look at him and be like, you know what? He's a skilled young guy. You know, maybe there's something there. What are you thinking? Like, is he available? If so, what are you looking for? You know, what do you want from us? Let's talk. We'll talk.
Right. Look, we need all the assets we can get to try and pry one of the centers away from the Ducks. Okay,
that's right.
That's the goal, right? To get
I'm gonna be honest. Do you want
Zegras or something? No.
Do you really want Zegras?
Because I don't think Zegras is going to work well with Tortorella.
I don't think he'll work well with Tortorella. And dude, like, it just seems like he is so checked out in Anaheim. And it's like, listen, I understand like being frustrated with your situation and all that, but like, what's going to happen if things are not going well in Philly?
And they probably won't go well in Philly.
Are we going to have an Alec Boehm situation? Like,
see, Alec Boehm at least had, for a while, he had that moment where he said, I fucking hate it here. And then he turned it around like almost immediately.
He did.
After that.
But I'm talking like, look at
you're asking like that's the actual positive there. Yeah. Because like it could go, there are guys that just can't play in Philly. That's a fact, Jack.
Yeah.
Like, there are guys that don't work out here because they don't have the mentality for it. And it's a hard place to play. We're being honest. Bruce knows it's a hard damn place to play. So guys that can't take the criticism, and I'll give it to Morgan Frost. Morgan Frost has gotten a lot of shit and he stayed quiet about it. He hasn't whined. He hasn't complained. I will give it up to Morgan Frost on that front. But I've also wanted to see more out of Morgan Frost. Like, this was a great opportunity for him. He could have proven like just how good of an NHL player he could be this season. He's got some quality line mates. Have those line mates played up to their potential this year? Probably not. No, definitely not. But the only guy who's really played, like, I'd say Mishkov and Konechny are the two forwards.
Mishkov is like, I think he's playing to expectations. Unless you were one of those
expectations for rookie.
Yeah. And unless you were one of those people who was thinking that he was going to put up like rookie Ovechkin numbers, then he's not playing up to expectations. But he's playing real well. Yeah. He's playing great. And so is Konechny. So like those two guys are definitely, I would say, playing up to. I would actually say Konechny's above expectations right now. He's kind of balling out right now.
He's got great numbers. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, aside from that, no one's really.
As far as the forwards go.
Yeah, like the forwards.
You got to give it up for Travis Sanheim. We're going to get into Travis Sanheim.
Yeah. No,
if we're talking if we're talking the forward group, really it's just TK and Mishkov, and that's pretty much it as far as living up to expectations. So the thing is, though,
Tippett, not Forster,
but none of those guys have stayed out of the lineup for as long as Morgan Frost has, and the fact that the Flyers had those centers and John Tortorella continues to keep Morgan Frost out of the lineup means something's got to give.
Yeah,
something's got to give.
He's just tired of him. I think they're tired of each other, honestly.
And I'm tired of him too. And I have nothing against the guy personally, but the fact that we talk this much about him, this is like how much we've talked about Ristolainen. This is how much but even with like, okay, I'll say this about talking about Ristolainen. Ristolainen has the physical attributes of like an amazing defenseman. So I understand talking about him from a disappointment standpoint. Morgan Frost is an undersized center whose potential is like his very best potential is probably second line. Okay. Like this is not a world breaker. This is not an unbelievable player.
Yeah.
He's not a 1C. Okay. Like if we're talking like, I don't know if Jet's got 1C potential, but I really liked what I saw from Jet at only 18 years old.
But he's already doing things that Morgan Frost doesn't do. Like he's already defensively responsible. And we've already seen like some creativity out of Jetlachenko as a
Morgan Frost.
I was going to say as basically I was going to say as basically a 17-year-old, but that literally doesn't make sense because he literally was not 17. But he's he's a child, a baby.
Yeah, he's a baby. He's a wee baby.
So, but yeah, like we're already seeing more out of Jetlachenko than we have out of Morgan Frost in terms of two-way play.
Yeah.
Is Jetlachenko ready? No, we know that he's not because he got sent down.
But the fact that he put together the games he did with NHL competition at his age, and also given the expectations for him from the draft, because that draft pick, as we all know, was completely just dunked on. People just gave Danny Briere so much crap for that.
Yeah.
And again, it all made sense at the time, but they clearly saw something in him from their scouting department that they really liked. And it seems like it was a good instinct right there. Frosty, though, he's had every opportunity. He hasn't shown us shit. And I think it's just time to part ways. And it's a shame, but I don't really feel that broken up about it ultimately.
Right.
It feels like a thing that needs to happen because I'm so tired. I am tired of this. This is not a guy who needs to have this much breath used on him for his hockey potential.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sad because like he is like, from what I can tell, a really good dude. And like, it's not like he's useless as a player, but it's just not working. And at some point, it's not the fit that you want. And I'm telling you, like you said it from the beginning, could it bite the Flyers in the ass? I think it will. But again, not to the level of like, we're talking about this years and years and years down the road. Like, I feel like he goes to another team, has a good career, like he's not going to have a good career with the Flyers. And that's just how it is.
It's just how it is. So do you think at this point a deal gets worked out sooner rather than later? Like, do you see this happening within the next month?
I've been thinking that they were going to deal him for multiple seasons now, and it hasn't happened. So I have no idea. Like, it seems like a good idea to trade him and just get something for him, because clearly like he's not even playing. So you might as well try and get some sort of asset in return. But like, we've been saying this for multiple seasons now, where it's like, if you're just going to bench him, just trade him. Like, it's not like he doesn't have value.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're going to do. Like, he might come back in and just be amazing, which is what we've seen him do for a little bit. And then it kind of sinks back down into being just, meh. But I don't know. I really have no idea what they're going to do with him. I think they should trade him. I think that's what I personally would do. But then again, I'm not an NHL general manager. What the hell do I know? So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do.
I don't think anybody does. And that's actually why I found it so interesting that Friedman had a tidbit today, because this front office, the Danny Briere, Keith Jones front office, has remained incredibly tight-lipped about stuff unless they really want something out there. They've been very strategic about leaking any sort of rumors. So for anything to be out there at this point, this is either, it's interesting. I mean, it could be Frost's agent too, frankly, just trying to push something out there. That's the layer, at this point, I've learned that every rumor has an origin somewhere, and it's somebody pushing an agenda. Okay. This is not just random happenstance. Okay. Somebody's pushing an agenda. Is this Morgan Frost's agent trying to get some traction for his client? Because if I was Morgan Frost, I would be pissed off about this. However, I would also try to do stuff that the coach would appreciate to keep me in the lineup, and it's just not a fit. I would hope that they work something out sooner rather than later. I don't like seeing him in limbo. I don't like seeing him, because the thing is also, like, it's not like guys that are that much better than him at hockey are playing in there instead of him right now.
Like, it's literally Tony Dick, Anthony Richard, which, like, listen, by the way, I like Anthony Richard. I like him a lot, but I'll be honest, he's kind of doing a little bit more. He's doing more than Morgan Frost had been. So,
he's fast. That's the thing.
He's fast as hell.
He's fast as hell. And this team needs speed.
Steve? What have we been saying?
Flyers got to fly.
Flyers got to fly, baby. Got to get that speed in there. So
got to fly now.
And you know what? He's up until yesterday, he was a point per game player.
Yeah, he was. And I mean, it's still really impressive what he's done. And I'd love to talk about Tony Dick right now, because Mr. Antic over there, I'm sure it's a very large member. What? But I'd love to talk about this guy for a second, just because I really like the energy he's brought. I was very skeptical when they paired him and Mishkov together on a line, especially I didn't like seeing Mishkov on the third line, because I just want this kid with every opportunity to score this year. I want him to do well. But at the same time, like, it seemed to work, because Mishkov was really benefiting from having that speed on the wing, which they don't have a lot of speedy guys. They have guys who are like, fast-ish. But the only other guy who's really speedy in the lineup per se is Owen Tippett.
Well, I mean,
Konechny, but like, I would say Konechny's fast-ish, whereas like I would say Owen Tippett's like legitimately
he's
speedy.
Like fast as hell. Yeah, he's really fast.
Owen Tippett's like really legitimately fast, and I would say Richard is that way too. Yeah. Whereas Konechny's more of like, I would say if like Tippett's like an A, right? Konechny's like a B plus, maybe an A minus, but
like,
I'd say B plus.
I'll be watching a game where like Anthony Richard will like, he won't even really do anything like on the play, but like he gets full speed, and you're like, who the hell is that? Like he sticks out because he's so goddamn fast. And like, it doesn't always result in like, a positive play Flyers or a negative play. Like sometimes it's just a nothing burger, but like he does flash, you know what I mean? And that's good. Like that's at least that's a quality that sticks out. Morgan Frost does not have a quality that sticks out. Sometimes he makes a really, really cool little puck trick. Yeah. Nice little stick move. He dances around, but like, dude, he's just not, just
a little shimmy,
shimmying around. He does some cool shimmy shit, but like it's not working out. Like none of them are leading to goals, he's not capitalizing on the chances that he creates. And like, how many times have we seen him just like his first goal of the season? Hilarious. Just like it was an accident. It was an accident. Like he has been just having such a hard time scoring, and a player like him should not be having that difficulty.
He has missed open nets that I think a blind man could hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could hand somebody who's never seen a hockey stick in their life a stick and put them in that position and they'd score, and he's finding ways to flub it. So I don't know if he's cursed, he's snake bitten or what, but let's get him out of here. Let's move on, and hey, keep Richard up. I like Richard in the lineup.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Guy. I think he plays a good two-way game. I enjoy his energy out there, which is nice. They don't have a lot of energy guys, and I'm not talking Zach Romaldo energy.
Yeah, not that
there,
kind of energy.
I'm not talking like I'm going to lay an illegal big hit on somebody. Zeke Romaldo, the king. But I'm talking like legit like energy, guys who are fast, who are moving the puck, helping the play, all that good stuff. So I'm glad to see him in there, and I hope he stays in there.
You know who he kind of reminds me of? And it's a bit different because like they're not really that similar play. Like I guess they have some similarities, but I remember when I was covering the Golden Knights, I was living in Las Vegas and they needed to bring up a forward. They brought up Brandon Peary, and Brandon Peary went on this fucking crazy tear where he was just scoring at will for like 2 weeks. It was crazy. And then he just like crash landed back to earth, and then he got sent down and he went back to but like, that's kind of what it reminds me. Like Anthony Richard is like a player who flashes. Yeah. And, is it going to stick long-term? I have my doubts, but at the very least, he is doing stuff right now, and he'll continue doing stuff until he isn't anymore.
It's a little
back
boost.
To the minors.
It's a boost to the team, and they really needed it. And I'm trying to remember, who was that guy from like 2 seasons ago who was like this weird flash in the pan for like
Jerry Mayhew.
Yes, thank you.
Jerry Mayhew.
Okay, we're forming a bit of a hive mind here. So I'm glad you picked up exactly on who I was talking about, because I couldn't remember to save my life. I
remember Mayhew so vividly because right before I was like focused on the Flyers, I was doing a lot of stuff for the Wild. And I remember Minnesota Wild fans were like obsessed with Jerry Mayhew. They were like, this guy, like they believed in Jerry Mayhew. And they just knew that he could like be something. And guess what? He wasn't. But like he showed flashes, and then like he came to the Flyers and he was just like, all these Wild fans. Yeah, same exact thing. And Wild fans are just like, see, I told you. And it's just like, dude, no, he's not that good. No, he's really not.
There are guys who have like 3 great NHL games in them.
Yeah, no, and that is exactly what he is. You know, some guys
every
have
couple
like,
years.
Yeah, some guys have like 30 like good NHL games in them, and other guys have, that's just the kind of guy that Jerry Mayhew is, and it's just funny. So.
We appreciate old Mayhem for what he did, and that was a fun couple.
It was funny. Yeah. I don't know if it was fun. To me, it was like funny. I was just like, oh my God.
Honestly, those are some bleak times. Not that now it's that great, but like they were very bleak times.
I mean, we got Mishkov now.
We got Mishkov now. That's the difference.
So it's not bleak.
We got Mishkov, we got Konechny, and we had Konechny then, but I feel like Konechny's different now. I feel like Konechny,
he's a leader now.
He is. Like he's
the alpha.
He's the star of the team. He is legitimately like, he's the main reason to buy Flyers tickets right now.
Yeah.
Is to see him and Mishkov and see what they can do. I'd love to see them do it together more often.
That would be cool.
It would be cool, but like, I get it, right? Like, I get that he's playing. It's a shame that they can't find a setter to go between Richard and Mishkov there, because I do like their synergy, but like Scott Lawton ain't doing it. I love Scooty Lutz, who had a brutal game the other night, but man, I love Scooty Lutz, but he ain't the guy to be between them. Ryan Poehling ain't the guy.
You could put Scooty Lutz in the same bucket as like, Morgan Frost is a guy who we keep talking about as like, is he going to get traded? Is this the year? And it just doesn't happen. Like,
Scooty Lutz at least like has a presence in the locker room.
He's very important. Yeah. Locker room wise. Yeah.
Morgan Frost, man, I can't think of a reason. I can't think of, and I could justify as a hoarder. I'm like a junior hoarder. Okay. I have a lot of crap in my basement that I need to get rid of, but I don't, because I have emotional attachments to them. I'm like, the saying, it's like you pick it up, and if you don't derive joy from it, throw it away.
Yeah,
I derive joy from like every piece of crap I own. All right.
That's why I get rid of everything.
You need to go clear out my basement then, because I have a lot of crap. But the thing is, like, it takes a lot for me to just say trade this guy. Okay, I've been burnt by Patrick Sharp, and burnt by Justin Williams, even Dennis fucking Seidenberg. Okay, I've been burnt by a lot of guys. All right, so for me to just say, yeah, you could trade Frost, that's fine. That took a lot.
Yeah, no, I bet it did.
Yeah,
I know that's
yeah. But that's life as a Flyers fan. And
I will say one funny thing about Scott Laughton in terms of being like a locker room guy. I remember I was at the Avalanche game on Monday, and they showed, everyone's congratulating Erik Johnson on his 1000th game and all that. Big Johnson. And basically they showed Scott Laughton on the big screen, and he's like, wow, Erik Johnson, 1000 games. Amazing. Like, and he just said it in such a very
sarcastic,
very sarcastic tone. Just
amazing.
Like, wow, amazing. And it's just funny. It's so obvious that he's just a hilarious teammate. And
I mean,
love
he's Gritty's best friend. He's Gritty's best friend. Can you really trade Gritty's best friend? I don't think you can.
No, you can't. You
gotta keep him. They have matching t-shirts.
You know what? What if how about instead of trading Scott Laughton, we just terminate his contract as a player, but give him a new contract worth the same amount of money to be Gritty's best friend and just hang out with Gritty?
I'm cool with that, but I don't mind Scott Laughton on the ice. I just mind that the Flyers don't have enough depth where he is playing on anything beyond the fourth line. I think he's at this point in his career, I think he's a fine fourth liner. He's a fourth liner.
Yeah.
To see him on the third line, and he's not a center at this point either. We really hoped he'd be a nice two-way center. I thought when they drafted him, he'd be Mike Richards Jr.
That's what everyone was saying. Yeah. And he's just not.
He's just not. He has the leadership aspect for sure. Like, the leadership's great. I think he's a great leader. I just don't think he just doesn't have the skill, man. He just doesn't have it. I'm sorry. Hey, Sean Couturier, for all his flaws, at this point in his career, Sean Couturier, if they had enough depth and he was the third line center, that would be great. That's what Charlie was saying yesterday. Was Jordan Staal can do that on that team, and that's great for Jordan Staal at this point in his career. If Sean Couturier could do that, I really love this point from Charlie. If Sean Couturier could do that, that would be tremendous for him at this point in his career, because then he could just be the captain, lead the team, do the PK sometimes, and play his game. Because he's still Mr. Chestnut Checkers. He's still seeing the game. But I'm thinking back to the Kucherov goal in the Tampa Bay game, where he saw what Kucherov was doing. He was very aware of where Kucherov was going, but he just didn't have the speed at this point to catch up to Kucherov. He just couldn't. And it's a bummer to see, but he has the instincts, and he does have a lot of skill. It's just, he just can't score anymore.
Yeah.
It's just, that's it. His body just doesn't move like it could. I mean, after all those spinal back injuries and everything, I get it. I totally get it. And it just sucks that the team's in that position. I don't know where the hell we're going to find the center of the future except for Jet. So hopefully you can pencil Jet into one of those top two center spots.
Yeah. Okay? Maybe you get lucky in the draft. You just keep drafting centers. One of them sticks, but
3 picks, 3 first rounders coming up. I'm excited about that.
Lottery tickets.
Unless Colorado continues to struggle, but I don't think so. Yeah. They got Nathan McKinnon. I'm sorry. He's a world talent. They'll be fine. People keep trying to go, they might get, they're not getting a lottery spot. They got Cale Makar, Nathan McKinnon.
Cale Makar basically scored a hat trick against the Flyers the other night. That one they took away, I don't think should have been taken away personally. Yeah. But basically a hat trick. Dude's a freak. They're going to be
freak. He's unbelievable. So. Yeah, they're going to be fine. I'm not losing any sleep over the Colorado Avalanche. But not at all. So we're talking about some of the deficiencies with the Flyers forwards and everything. And there's deficiencies throughout the lineup. Don't get me wrong. But I would love to talk for a couple minutes about one of the guys who's really performing better than expected this season and putting in some work. Okay. Putting in just crazy amounts of work. And that's Travis Sanheim. Travis Sanheim, our baby boy Travis Sanheim, is a workhorse, first pair defenseman now. And listen to this time on ice that he's had over the past few games. So number one, he hasn't had under 23 minutes in a game since October 22nd. Okay. It's been a month, and he hasn't had under 23 minutes. That's wild.
23 minutes is a lot.
It's a lot.
That is a lot of time. And
they're hard minutes too.
Yeah, he's consistently getting significantly more than 23 minutes.
Yeah. So listen to the past few games, okay? 24-40, 31-07, 31-07, 27-38, 28-22, 30-23, 30-19, and 28-21. This is just crazy shit. Even Provorov wasn't necessarily pulling in this many minutes a game.
Yeah, and Provorov, like, to his credit, he had his issues, but like he was so good about like taking on a shitload of ice time and playing those tough. Like he would do PK, he would do power play. Sucked on the power play, but he would do it.
Horrible.
And so like, but like Travis Sanheim right now is an absolute dog out there. He's just, I mean, he's playing literally half the game. It's crazy. There's 3 defense pairings.
Yeah.
He's playing half. He's taking on someone else's job. Like
it's wild. And like even his defensive partners aren't playing that much time in the game. Like he's been playing with Ristolainen in recent games, right? On the top pairing.
Yeah.
And I don't think on this most recent one he was, but like in a lot of games he has. And like Risto is playing more like 22, 23 minutes, which by the way, for Risto is a big graduation from where he used to be. Like Risto used to be in the teens pretty consistently. So for Risto to be up there in the 20s is really impressive and shows how much his game has progressed compared to like 3 years ago when I thought we are cursed with this man forever.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, listen, we talk about Risto in the contract. He really is a lot better this year than he
it's a lot better.
Been.
I think I
don't like freak out when I see him
guys against the boards. I see him like clearing the crease a little bit. He's being smart with the puck. Like I have turned into he is fine, which is awesome. That's great. Right. I will take that. And the fact that what really distressed me with him, like I think 2 years ago, this really was distressing to me, was when there were injuries and they needed somebody to play the right side on the top pairing. He couldn't do it. He couldn't be trusted to do it. So they had to put younger, worse guys in there. And well, you're, like less talented guys in there. And it's like, no, this is your time. Like you have to get plugged in there. Like, and he couldn't do it. And clearly when Chuck Fletcher acquired Risto, he had Ryan Ellis in mind to play that top pairing. So Risto was in theory a second pairing, but you have to imagine for the assets that Chuck Fletcher gave up for him and what Chuck Fletcher signed him to that contract, like he was envisioning Risto as a potential top pairing guy.
Yeah.
How could you not? The guy's big. He can handle the puck. Like, how can you not? This is a guy that I feel comfortable now seeing him on the top pairing every now and then, but he's doing a good amount of the work. But man, what Travis Sanheim is doing, and I hope he can sustain this over the season. I have a lot of concerns for him running out of gas in the second half.
Right.
But man, I love to see it. We were so concerned when he signed that contract, and
he's stepped up. He's stepped up big time. And
we were talking in the Slack, and thankful to Torrey Krug right now for declining to come to Philadelphia, because that is a huge what if right now.
Yeah, exactly. And like another thing with Sanheim, like you talk about the sustainability of it, I think like it's not sustainable, but I don't think he needs to be playing these minutes. I think he's playing these minutes because you're out Cam York, you're out Emil Andre, you're who else are we missing? There's
Jamie Drysdale.
Like you're out all these other guys, and so it's like they have to lean on Travis Sanheim. So like I don't think it's gonna.
It won't.
I don't think he's going to have to take on this workload for the whole season.
Once York gets back, that's the big one. Because I would say the second most trusted guy on this defense after Sanheim is Cam York, which, we say it all the time, but it is wild to think about how his relationship with John Tortorella has progressed, because he was sent to the AHL. He was I would say all 3 of the guys we talked about, it's crazy for all the shit we give Torts. Like he really has made some great progress with at least, I would say at minimum 4 players in this roster.
Yeah, and listen,
those guys in Travis Konechny.
I was going to say Konechny. Like people can, moan and whine all they want about Morgan Frost and how he's mishandling Morgan Frost, but dude, look what he's done with all these other players. Like he's turned Rasmus Ristolainen into an NHL defenseman. He's turned Travis Sanheim into someone who was like really like kind of mid for a while.
It was extremely mid. He was mid to bad. Like, I was one of the few people defending him. Everybody was trashing Sanheim.
Turned him into a legit top pair defenseman, because right now that's what he is. He is an absolute top pair defenseman. Is he a number one defenseman? No, I don't think he'll ever get to that, but he's a top pair defenseman right now for sure.
He's a guy you can rely on, and his offensive numbers, I mean, he's the third best scorer on this team right now.
Yeah, exactly.
He's consistently in the offensive zone, producing positive plays, and he's just doing everything you want him to do now. He's a workhorse and he's good.
Look what he's done with Nick Seeler.
Nick Seeler was a guy that I thought was trash. Like, I was just like, this is a 7 at best. And Nick Seeler's now a guy I actually like to see on the defense. I think he does solid work in the defensive zone, and he blocks any damn shot out there, which
he does not care.
I don't love that the Flyers' strategy a lot of time is to block shots, but they also just don't have the talent and personnel to implement a system that isn't completely reliant on blocking shots right now.
Right. Yeah. And like, he has his flaws, but like the things he does well, he does really, really well. So
it's so crazy. Interesting that this team, I really like hated the defense coming into the system, but like, I don't have a problem with a lot of the defensive guys so far. Like, Sanheim's been fantastic. Ristolainen has been way better than I anticipated him to be. Sealer's been solid, especially since coming back from the injury. Cam York, I really like a lot. Drysdale's been a huge disappointment. And then the fill-in guys, Emil Andre. Oh my God. I was so bummed he's hurt right now. Hopefully he comes back soon, because he's got to stay. Emil Andre is awesome.
He's been great. Yeah.
And then Helge Grans finally got his cup of coffee with the Flyers, and I think he's been pretty solid too through 2 games.
Yeah. So it was nice to see him get on the board in his first game, because his fans were there. Like, they just so happened to be in the United States. So like, really cool to see that when they came to the game for his first game, he got his first NHL point too. So I thought that was pretty neat. He hasn't been bad, nothing amazing, but like he's, he hasn't stood out to me in like too many negative ways. So
that's the thing, is when you're coming in that situation as a younger player, especially on such a tough position as defense, he got a good amount of ice time in that first game too. To be able to come in there and play solid defense in any respect is pretty amazing. Yeah. And, I don't think we're going to have like the Grans Biscuit boys out there in the stands for him or anything, but they're all wearing tubes, wearing tube costumes. Let's make it happen, guys.
Right.
But the Grans Biscuit boys, let's make it happen. But, I would take a solid player to go in there. I mean, right now, so Zamula took a trip to the art museum steps with his father and did the Rocky thing, and he's had some confidence since then. That's nice. Like, the defense is actually like got some solid guys right now. Are they consistently playing good defense? Not necessarily, but
yeah,
I would also pin a lot of that on the offense and the fact that the offense has kind of been horseshit for the most part lately.
Yeah, no, I mean, the offense has been bad. Well, I was actually about to say everything's been bad, but that's not true, Steve. It's actually been kind of good.
What's that?
The goaltending.
The goaltending's been interesting.
It's been weirdly good.
It's been weirdly good, and that's without Samuel Ersson, the son of Ayers, in there, because like he's had his injury issues lately, and Ivan Fedotov,
is he back?
I don't know what he is.
Was he ever here to begin with, is the question. But like
last night on Blue Sky, I used the Zoolander breakdance fighting clip to describe his style.
Yeah.
And like, it's wacky, dude. He makes me nervous every damn time he fields a puck.
It doesn't
every
make
damn
sense.
time. It doesn't make sense. For a big man to be expelling as much energy as he is in net is wild to me. Like, he's legitimately huge, and he is out there stacking the pads. He's out there throwing his full body on the puck like it's a grenade.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like, he plays I've never seen a goalie look as weird as he does. Like, I wonder if this is what people thought before I say this. I'm not trying to say that he's Dominik Hasek.
No, but like,
is this what people thought about Dominik Hasek when he first came to the NHL? People were like, what the hell is he doing?
Well, it is like, it's a little bit Hasek-esque in as far as being unorthodox. Like, clearly the talent isn't on the same level, but like, he's completely unorthodox. There's like not really a rhyme or reason to the way he plays, and I can't explain to you why it's worked over the past few games. All right,
it's been weird.
I would say there was only one, maybe two glaringly bad goals in the Carolina game. And a lot of that, Carolina's going to get their chances. Carolina's a hockey team. But like the fact that he played so well in the Tampa Bay game, the fact that even though he let up 4 goals, the fact that he kept them in that Ottawa game when they were getting smoked. Like, you want to talk about the offense not doing you any favors. The only reason the Flyers won that game was because Linus Ullmark was horrible.
Right.
Absolutely horrible. Like, the offense did nothing in that game. They had, I remember I turned it on because that was the same night the Eagles played the Commanders, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So of course I was watching the Eagles and I tuned in. I had the Flyers on like the side, but then it was, I want to say it was halftime, or the Eagles started to smoke the Commanders. Saquon Barkley went into freak mode. But Saquon, oh, I love him so much. But
He's ours.
It's all ours. None of you can have him. But whatever it was, I turned it on. And I saw the Flyers were tied and had 9 shots. And I'm like, what is going on? And the Senators had like 30 shots.
Bizarre. It was just out of, and like Fedotov was like the best player for the Flyers in that game.
Brian Boucher was absolutely hailing him when they called him player of the game.
He had the Flyers had no reason to win that game. The reason they won is because Ivan Fedotov was just decent enough to win the game for them, and Linus Ullmark was just not that good. And then the Flyers got lucky with their puck luck. Like they were just firing pucks in net, and it worked.
Should do that more often.
It would be pretty sick, Steve.
I will say though, the one, like, as bad as some of those goals were, the winner in that game was
beautiful. That's like, that was, see, that play is what we have been waiting for in terms of like what Michkov can bring to the table. Michkov, like, that is no other Flyers trying that shot.
Yeah. So just to set up the scene for, I'm sure all of you have seen it. If you haven't seen it, go watch it immediately because it was so good. But Michkov is at the side of the net. Terrible angle. Absolutely horrible angle. But some would call it Michael Leighton-esque. And he had no business shooting that puck.
He was like on the goal line.
This is like how he sees the game so differently than everybody else in the Flyers, where I feel like every other Flyer, and we saw this in the Carolina game, would see, okay, I have to pass this puck. I have to find a way to get another angle on it. Michkov said, and you know what I was thinking of when I saw this? I was thinking of in Happy Gilmore at the end, when the stage collapses and the golf commissioner comes on. And he's like, all right, we'll just shoot it around and we'll play a playoff. And Happy goes, no, I think I'll just win it here. And then he does the crazy mini golf shot through all the piping and everything. That was what I thought of Michkov. He said, no, I'll just win it here. And he takes this crazy side angle shot and he finds the one spot that Linus Ullmark did not have defended against the pipe. It was awesome. It was like truly awesome.
No one else on the Flyers is making that play.
No, they don't even think to make that play.
That's the thing.
This is why he's just the man. This is why I love this kid. This is why I am so psyched about the Flyers right now, even though the record's not great. You know, the future is bright, which is nice because the other team playing in the Wells Fargo Center right now is not providing a very bright future at the moment.
Oh my God. At least Jared McCain.
Jared McCain's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think Maxey just got back, but yeah, Paul George just went out for a couple more games. It beats trash this year. It's not fun. So somebody's having fun in the Wells Fargo Center, and his name is Matvei Michkov. And that just ruled. It was so good to see. And yeah, Michkov is a scorer, right? And we always say scorers are going to be streaky, but as long as we get some more stuff like that this season, I don't care, man. It's fun. He's up there, second in scoring on the team. He's going to continue to get his points. He's going to learn the game more and more. He's learning every day, okay? he is going to figure it out, and he's already like figured a lot of stuff out. Like, yeah, is every game going to be great? No, absolutely not.
And that's
he's
not
19 years old.
Yeah. Like, and we knew that he was going to have some hiccups. Like even Torts admitted before the season, he was like, I'm probably going to scratch him at some point. And everyone was like, when he actually did it, everyone was freaking out. But like, we knew that was going to, he probably told Mishkov, you know what? I bet he told Mishkov before the season even started, there are going to be points where I'm going to scratch you. I need you to understand that.
I
need you to understand
that. Yeah.
I bet he told him before literally as like when he first met him. I wouldn't be surprised if he told him, I'm going to scratch you at some points. Don't take it personally. Don't think that means you're a bad hockey player. You're not. It means I just want you. This is just what I do. This is my method of coaching.
Yeah.
Don't take it personally. Like, and since he's come back, he's looked great. Has he looked great? Like, he doesn't look great every game, but again, he's a rookie. That's just not how it goes typically, unless you're, like Austin Matthews as a rookie or something.
And it's tough to get acclimated to the NHL style of game when you've been playing overseas, when you've been playing in Russia. Like, it is a different game. The physicality is completely different. And like, you saw this in preseason when guys were just trying to push him around, Yeah. And I'm happy to see him get these opportunities, these moments of magic that make it all worth it to watch this crazy game and get as frustrated by this crazy team as we do. Moments like that overtime winner in Ottawa make
that was cool.
All of this worth it.
Like, that's the thing, like the game itself, watching the 60 however minutes before that goal, I was just like annoyed. I was like, what the hell is this team? Why don't they just lose? And then like, why can't they just have a normal game? And then he scores that goal. I'm like, all's forgiven. That was sick. Super stoked that I watched that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, and what's been cool also is, so I've been pretty active over on Blue Sky since that's really kicked up.
Me too. Follow us on Blue Sky, please. Thank you.
Please do. It's been fun again. Like, Twitter's been miserable with all the just terrible bots and like the block crap.
Does it feel like Twitter? Like, there's not even anything going on. Like, people, like, I feel like people aren't like, and maybe this is me being weird, I don't know, but like, I feel like no one is like interacting with each other. Like, I don't have any activity on my tweets, like no likes, retweets, or replies. On Blue Sky, there's like, people are responding. We're having conversations. There's people are active on there.
You know what it is that it doesn't weigh you down with all the crap that Twitter's become, where Twitter, and this isn't just a Blue Sky commercial. This is just like, this is one of my favorite experiences of doing this podcast and like interacting with people is I've always really enjoyed Twitter for the sports interaction component. And since Elon Musk has taken over Twitter, he's really just messed with the algorithm and pushed out this for you stuff where they're trying to just force feed content into your feed. And it takes away from the interaction and joy of like following specific people and cultivating your own feed to have that kind of interaction. And Blue Sky's really stripped it down to what the previous core Twitter experience was. So that's what I'm really enjoying about it. And I thought that Mishkov winner was, I think, the best Flyers social media explosion I have seen in a long time.
It was awesome. It was really, really cool. And you know what's the best part? There's probably going to be more of that this season.
Absolutely. So like, I'm going to be real active on there during games. So I honestly, if I can abandon the Twitter account at some point, I probably will.
I'm legit thinking of just like getting the fuck out of Twitter.
I'm thinking about it as well. Twitter. I'm really done with Twitter, but Blue Sky is awesome. So please go follow us there. We're having a lot of fun over there, folks. We really are. And Matvey Mishkov, man, listen, just keep getting us special goals every now and then. And it's all worth all this crap. Brucey agrees.
Yes. Yeah.
He's getting impatient.
Pretty awesome.
So, okay, quick fire here. All right, very quickly. One got to go, goalie edition. All right, so let's say you're Danny Briere. You can only keep one goalie on the roster when Samuel Erson's healthy. Fedotov or Kolosov, who are you going with?
I'm gonna say Kolosov, and the reason why is because even though Fedotov is looking better, it still feels like Kolosov is like technically more sound.
100% agree.
100%. He visual Ron Hextall, visually it looks better, Steve, when Alexei Kolosov is in net. So like I just, and Alexei Kolosov is younger. Like, and plus the added context of like him being like, play me or else I'll go back to fucking Russia. Like, which we don't know if that'll happen.
I don't want to spite him on that front, but
yeah. But like, that's the thing though, is like, I feel like he looks better than Fedotov. And like, yeah, it's nice that Fedotov's getting some wins now. That's awesome. He's got what? He did have 3 in a row.
He's got 3 wins now. He's 3-4.
Yeah, but like, it's still not like he's having these lights out performances, because he's not.
But listen here, Quigs. Kolosov's 0-4. Okay,
right. But the thing with Kolosov is like, again, like, I feel like when I watch Kolosov, it's not like I'm not petrified whenever the puck is near him.
Yes, I agree. Like,
there's no, like, it's not. It feels like he's able to make these routine stops, whereas like Ivan Fedotov, he makes the stops, but he makes them all look so difficult. And again, he's looking better. Things have improved, but I still prefer Kolosov.
Kolosov feels like something you can work with. 100%.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've got that answered. And then I'm going to rapid fire through this. There was an athletic player poll, okay, where they were polling players about rule changes. Mm-hmm. And there were just like a couple interesting ones I want to talk about very quickly, because I know we're just about at the hour. Probably a little bit over. But first one, overtime. Most of the guys said longer overtime, trying to get rid of those shootouts. I think we can all agree on that front. Like a 10-minute overtime, I think would be perfectly acceptable.
I agree. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's excellent.
The one thing I really enjoyed was a power play in overtime should be 3-on-2, not 4-on-3. Amen. I have been thinking this forever.
So I mean, I think that would be awesome. I just don't think it'll ever happen. I would love it because it'd be chaotic as hell, but I just don't think it'll happen.
I think it would be chaotic, but I also don't think it makes any sense to add an extra man when you're already going to 3 men.
Right.
Like,
and then it becomes 4-on-4, and it's just like, what are we doing here? Like,
we're
like
going to
you're
make
not totally committing
next?
to 3-on-3. Yeah. So I would be cool with that. I don't think the NHL would ever do it, but I would be cool with that.
I think they should do that. I like that a lot. There were some other interesting things, like somebody said, like backcourt violation. You can't cross the red line.
That absolutely should be in.
Absolutely. No offside during 3-on-3 play. I love that. Let's go friggin' nuts, man.
There should be a backcourt violation, because isn't that a rule in the KHL, where it's like, if you go into the offensive zone and then you leave and you cross center ice, that's a penalty on you. So
is that what it is? That's cool.
I think it is, which is what I think they should do. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, I can't remember if it's a penalty or if it's like a face-off in your zone or something. But like, something needs to be done, because like way too many teams are just like hogging the puck the whole time. And like, is it a smart strategy? Yes. But is it fun? No. It's awful to watch.
No, so it's like, awful to watch.
From a fan perspective, we want to see chances. Like, we don't want you to just kind of be hogging the puck and like milking it to force a shootout.
Absolutely agree with that. One of the other interesting ones was on the power play. Somebody said shorthanded goal results in player leaving the box, like PWHL and Europe, which, dude, I'm into that. I'm 100% into that, because it gives teams more incentive to score shorthanded goals. And I think a shorthanded goal is one of the most exciting plays in hockey, because it's typically like, it's typically a breakaway or a 2-on-1 or something. Like, make teams take chances on the penalty kill, because there's nothing more boring than when a team just turtles up and takes shots.
I have an interesting rule here that I don't see for power plays. And what made me think of this is I read, if you're on the power play in a period ends, the next period, even if it's overtime, it starts with an offensive zone face-off. I like that. You know what my idea is, Steve? If there is, let's pretend there are, 25 seconds left in the third period. If the winning team, if the trailing team gets a power play with only 25 seconds left, they should extend the period to allow them the whole power play.
Interesting. Okay. That's interesting.
Hockey purists would hate that.
They would.
But, like, I mean, don't take penalties then.
Right.
Don't take penalties when you're trying to secure the win. Like, you got to play clean. And if you like, there's got to be consequences, because like in the last, like, let's pretend there's 15 seconds left and you're just doing anything. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, just force a face off. Doesn't matter. Like, just waste time some way, somehow. Like, that is kind of, I don't know. I want to avoid that. So it'll keep teams from taking these penalties. And if they do get a penalty, it could make games more interesting, because it would, I don't know. I think that'd be a cool idea. So
yeah, that's interesting. I mean, dude, I'm into some innovation at this point, because I think they need a little bit of tinkering. Video challenges, a lot of people said eliminate the offside review, or change it to like, once a team's in the offensive zone for a certain period of time, like 30 seconds, and then scores anyway. Who cares about the offside? Like, get the puck out of your own damn zone. The offsides challenges have gotten completely out of hand, so they need to tweak them in some way. Watching a goal come back because a guy's skate was a millimeter of a centimeter,
it's stupid. It doesn't
offside. It kills momentum in the sport. It makes it not fun to watch.
Yeah, no, like, that is one of the things. Also, in terms of like, well, we're going to get into this. I was going to say, in terms of video reviews, like goalie interference, like, there needs to be some more context for that.
That was one of the big ones. Was they talked a lot about the goalie interference, which we've seen a bunch already this season. And like, yeah, it needs to be black and white. Like, you need to clearly define it. Say what you will about the crease rule. It was horrible. I'll say it over and over again, but at least it was very clear about what the crease rule was.
Yeah.
You have a skate in the crease, no matter how much, goal doesn't count. The crease was huge, so it was stupid, but like, I got it. I understood it. Whereas with this current goaltender interference rule, it is not black and white. It's very ticky-tacky, and nobody gets it. So you got to clarify it.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, for example, the Flyers game the other night, where the Cale Makar goal was taken away because of goalie interference. I mean, to me, Alexei Kolosov initiated the contact on that play. So I think that goal should have counted. It did make sense to me. Like, I don't know. So there's so much gray area with goalie interference, and I just feel like they need to totally rewrite it. And we've been saying this for a long time now. They're not gonna. It's gonna be a guessing game for years to come. So.
Forever, absolutely forever. And then just a couple of the miscellaneous ones. Somebody said, "Let's bring back the 2-line pass rule, slow it down a little bit." And I couldn't disagree more with that. That's a dumb idea. That's one of the worst rules. That was a 90s rule right there. And it slowed the game down so much. One of the best decisions the NHL ever made was getting rid of that. Like, who made this suggestion? Nick Delorier? I can't keep up.
Yeah, honestly, I was going to say.
Delorier or Couturier? One of those guys with an A name at the end there said it.
I want to know your thoughts on this next one that you have highlighted. Because, yeah. I want to hear your side of this.
The next one I have highlighted is get rid of puck over the glass delay of game. I friggin' hate the puck over the glass delay of game. I hate it so much. I don't care about, like, I don't think that many guys are really flipping the puck over the glass to delay the game. And it's just like one of those, it's the most frivolous penalty. I hate when my team.
If you take away the penalty, then guys will just start yeeting it over the glass because they're tired and they want to get off. They want to break.
Fine them.
No. I think that penalty is very important.
Hate that penalty. I hate
it. Because let's pretend you're on the PK, you're tired, and like you don't have a clear lane to dump the puck, so you just yeet it into the netting.
Fine them. I don't care. I hate that penalty.
I don't like that.
Oh, no.
I don't want like that because then it slows everything down.
No, I feel like that. I don't know. I feel like that penalty is so frustrating, especially it usually just happens by accident. And it's like,
yeah, but it's not like we see it all the time.
I see it a lot. I don't know. I will say this past couple seasons, I feel like I've seen it less. I feel like I just see it a lot. And it was really annoying. I don't know. I've never liked it.
I don't have a problem with it personally.
I do feel like
it's a frustrating penalty, but like I'm not frustrated because of the penalty. I'm frustrated because the player like fucked up.
I don't like it. I don't
So.
like it at all. I don't like it at all. One of my other favorite ones was somebody said, make goalie gear bigger again. And that it had to be a goalie saying that or complete sarcasm.
It had to be. Yeah. I don't know who else it would be.
As somebody who lived through the Garth Snow era, of the most ridiculous pads of all time. We don't need goalie gear bigger again. Goalies are also friggin' awesome now. So like, I don't think you need pads.
They don't need any more
again.
help. Yeah, it's fine the way it is.
Granted, save percentages have gone down a little bit, but like these guys are so talented on both sides of the puck. So like, you don't need the gear bigger. Can you imagine Ivan Fedotov with bigger pads?
Oh my God.
He wouldn't actually have to move in that case.
He'd win the Vezina.
Yeah.
He'd win the Vezina this year. Like
it would be ridiculous. He would actually be a wall. Yeah.
Yeah. I disagree with that one. But
Ivan the Wall Fedotov right there.
Oh, that would be a good name.
There is some other stuff that we could get into here. I could honestly spend all day with this article. This was a good piece over on The Athletic here. But yeah, we got to get going. But this was a fun piece. Definitely check it out. I'm willing to pick this back up in a future episode because I do think the NHL needs to change some things up. Not that Gary will ever do it because Gary has a Napoleon complex, but he should do it. There's a lot of things that they certainly should change. That feels like actually a great summer episode is just like our top NHL changes we've made.
Yeah, what are we going to change? What should they do differently? Like
put it on the list.
Improve the sport. Yeah,
put it on the list as soon as April whatever hits and the Flyer season is over. Let's do it.
I would love that.
Good shit, right there.
Time.
Folks, we're going to head out. Thank you so much for listening. We truly love and appreciate you all. If you have any feedback for us, the best place is social media. You can follow us on X/Twitter and Blue Sky. Where can the people find you over on those social medias, Quigs?
Oh, baby, you can find me at Ryan Quigs with a Z. I'll be honest, just do Blue Sky.
Just do Blue Sky. It's more fun.
It's better.
Less cluttered. Just do it. Do it.
Do it.
You can find me at Flyperbole or at Esteban if it's for hockey purposes. Make it Flyperbole. Flyperbole over on Instagram and TikTok as well. And follow Broad Street Hockey and all that good stuff. Plenty of good podcast offerings out there. And, hey, go check it all out. We are happy to give you all that Flyers tangy tent. All right, folks, we are out of here. Thanks so much for listening. And until next time, in the words of the great Gene Hart, good night and good hockey. Wow, wow. Wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow.